My name is Cheyenne Friscia. I am a senior with a major in organismal ecology and a minor in fine arts. I actually enrolled in Kutztown as an art education student and ended up switching over to environmental science. I've always had a passion for science, especially wildlife, and I had no idea that organismal ecology was a major here until I spoke to Dr. Underwood. Because when I was in environmental science, I started taking field classes and I discovered I want to be a field biologist. So I asked Dr. Underwood, what's the best major for me to be if I'd like to go on to become a field biologist? And he said the best major for that is organismal ecology because there's so many field classes. There's a lot of work with plants and animals and techniques that you will apply in the field. Being a biology major is very hard. It's very discouraging. A lot of my peers would say the same. And it's not for everyone as people find out, and just the major itself, chemistry, physics, there's all these other classes that we have to take that are required for our major, and it can be discouraging at times. And I think that's been the most difficult thing, because sometimes we don't do well in chemistry or physics or mathematics, these other classes that we're required to take, and it gives you a little bit of imposter syndrome. I'm not the best at chemistry. I'm not a chemist. I would call myself an ecologist or a wildlife biologist. So, getting a C on a chem lab or something, it makes me feel, am I cut out for this? Am I smart enough to do all this? Um, I think that's been my main difficulty, is overcoming those classes that I'm not the greatest at, and just trying to, tell myself I'm not a chemist, I'm not a physicist. This isn't my field. I just have to learn what I can, and you know, it was absolutely an amazing experience. I mean, I'm still working on my paper as of right now, so we're in our final edits, and we're going to send the paper out for publication, hopefully by next year. So fingers crossed that I can have my first paper published as an undergrad, which is fantastic. Um, I also had a poster I presented at the Ecological Society of America, so that's another feather in my hat. And the research itself in the field, gathering the data is the best part. Working in the field one on one with Dr. Underwood, one on one is arguably one of the best ways to learn. I have the professor all to myself. I was able to learn so much in those. I volunteered for him for one summer, and the next summer I was his paid assistant. So I learned so much from him. I cannot thank him enough. Seriously, I think that our professors are the greatest resource that we have on campus. Anyhow, like I had said earlier, the research that I've done with Dr. Underwood has really given me a leg up. That was a solid foundation for my resume. I was able to work with piping plovers, and I think that I definitely got the job because I had experience with Dr. Underwood handling birds, working with birds, reading bird bands, all those kind of little niche skills, that you need to have to work with birds.